An absolutely wild day in the world of Magic the Gathering. Wizards of the Coast has found themselves a brand new president, and he's coming over from the video game company Blizzard, which has a very questionable reputation. And speaking of questionable, you absolutely need to see the brain dead new secret layers that Wizards of the Coast just announced.
Magic. History. I'm an old wizard! The magic historian. My bones hurt.
Greetings! Owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well because we have gathered for a weird installment of Mega Magic News. We've got two main things to talk about: the change of leadership at Wizards of the Coast and the absolute brain dead secret layers that are going to be coming to a table near you soon. And I can't stop laughing about how ridiculous they are. So let's get the more serious aspect out of the way first, and then we'll talk about the secret layer nonsense, because I can't even with this stuff, to be real. Now, starting out with Wizards of the Coast leadership change, we have an executive coming over from Blizzard, a company that has a very questionable track record, right? So the individual is named John Haidt. He is going to be the president of Wizards of the Coast and Digital Gaming Division. So basically that's like everything that Wizards of the Coast does, plus any kind of digital gaming. So you've got D&D, you've got Magic, but you've also got things like Monopoly Go or Baldur's Gate. So when it comes to coming over from Blizzard, like I said, the questionable nature of that company makes you wonder, how's it gonna go overall? There were people who were worried originally when they said, yo, they're bringing in a Blizzard executive, please not Bobby Kotick, oh! But it turns out that's not the case, right? So John Haidt was in charge of World of Warcraft. And as far as I understand, World of Warcraft didn't suffer from quite as many issues as some other elements of Blizzard did. Like, they have not the greatest reputation when it comes to game development overall. And I think most people can remember the fiasco when they came out with Diablo, like the mobile version. What was it called? Diablo Immortal or something like that, where the most memorable part of it was somebody walking up to the mic in the Q&A and being like, is this an early April Fool's joke? And I'm going, we're doing it for mobile. And instead of the crowd being like, woo, they were all like, wait, what? We thought we were getting another epic Diablo. Like, the first Diablo game was pretty solid. Diablo 2 was incredible. I love Diablo 2, right? So we thought we were going to be getting a new epic level Diablo, and instead they're like, beep, boop, beep, play it on your mobile phone. And people just went, And then the guy who's doing the presentation goes, it's on your phones. What? Don't you have phones? Like, it's like, bro, this is it. You need better marketing people on this. So when it comes to this individual, it looks like he was mostly just tied up in the World of Warcraft stuff. And let's be real, the previous person who was in charge of Wizards of the Coast only stuck around for a couple of years, basically to pad out the resume before she moved on to Funko and came over from a cigarette company. So you just go, what do you know about Magic at all? And right, the secret layers that we're going to look at next basically must have been created during her leadership. So I don't know. Maybe this guy coming in will make improvements. I don't know how much he's actually going to be focused on Magic the Gathering, right? Magic the Gathering is also, it's already on a pretty crazy scale of increasing the monetization. What real tweaks can this guy make? You can't cut card quality anymore. You can certainly make the game more expensive. You can't really add microtransactions to Magic. The most they can do is come up with nonsense like the value booster. So as far as I'm concerned, this probably isn't going to be too detrimental, but there's not really a reason to get super excited about it either, because at the end of the day, something like 40 or more percent of Hasbro's revenue is literally coming from Wizards of the Coast and the digital gaming division. So this guy is going to be expected to squeeze more blood from the stone, right? And where does that come from? I don't know. They've already completely changed Magic into a mega commander fest at this point. So ultimately, it remains to be seen whether this change, I mean, I'm pretty cynical, let's be real. I feel like this change is either going to maintain the status quo or make things somewhat worse. However, it might lead to improvements for Arena, because Arena is somewhat languishing, right? Wizards of the Coast originally planned for Arena to be a really big deal. That's where the Pro Tour is going to be happening. That's where everything was going to be happening. And then when that didn't happen the way they wanted, because they completely botched the entire concept by going, here's the Pro Tour, they will know your name. Oh, how do we get on the Pro Tour? Like that was Wizards' response, right? So you just go, oh, okay then. And like, so Arena's been plagued by a bunch of problems. Maybe having somebody in charge of it who's actually been like involved in video game stuff for what, a decade and a half or more. He's got a lot of experience as a Blizzard executive. And on top of that, when you go and look at all like the Reddit threads and people talking about this hire, there actually isn't a lot of people going, boo, this guy sucks, oh, he's awful. And considering how fast people are to go, this sucks, that guy's the worst, that's a half-decent sign. So it's not necessarily bad news. It's probably just neutralish, maybe slightly good news, right? Now, we're going to move in to Secret Lair Town. Before we go to brain-dead nonsense craziness, we're actually going to take a look at the Bloomborough special guest secret lair that they're doing, because this is more normal style Magic and literally ties into the Bloomborough concept. So you're going to see it up on the screen. We've got 5 different planeswalkers here in their animal forms. You've got Vraska as a snake, so that's Vraska, Golgari Queen. You've got Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge, as a rat. You've got Kiora, Behemoth Beckoner, as some kind of little, like, lizard beast thing. Then you've got Huatli, Radiant Champion, as a bird. And you've got Soren Markov as a bat. First of all, it's funny to me that everybody's names are like, I'm Vraska, the Golgari Queen. I'm Tezzeret, Master of the Bridge. I'm Kiora. I beckon Behemoths over. And then Huatli's like, I'm a Radiant Champion. Then you got, I'm Soren Markov. It's just like, hi, I'm Daryl the Face Smacker. Oh, my name is Jeff Smith. That's what they call me. So, hello, just call me Jeff, bro, right? Like, that amuses me. Also, what's really weird about this to me is the animal aspects of Huatli specifically. Like, it makes sense for Vraska to be a snake. It makes sense for Tezzeret to be a rat. It makes sense for Kiora to be some kind of weird aquatic lizard kind of thing. But why on earth is Huatli a bird? Because some of the armor that she wore had feathers in it? Like, she's totally 100% aligned with dinosaurs. Why would she not be specifically some kind of lizard beast, something of that nature, right? And then on top of that, you have the fact that this secret lair has insanely poor value. You look at it and go, there's nothing really good in here. We're going to look at one secret lair today that does have epic value. Unfortunately, when you look at it, you'll see there are other problems with it. But this is the most normal secret lair that we're going to be taking a look at today. So let's move on to the brain dead insanity. We have 3 brain dead layers in total to look at. They're literally called the brain dead crossover. So that's not me insulting them. That's me using their actual name. So the first one that we're going to look at is the basic land one. And this honestly might be the least objectionable one, theoretically, just because they're actually lands. It's really easy to pick which one of these 3 I hate the most, but it's kind of a toss-up between this one and the next one as to what comes in first and second place for the runner-up to the actual worst. So when you look at this, you can see these are strange, right? You've got 5 basic lands, 5 of them, or 10 I should say. You've got 2 of each, which I suppose if we have to give Wizards a little bit of credit, at least this is a secret lair where you get 2 of each basic instead of just 1 of each basic. But you've got these weird brain kind of head window ones, which is essentially the brain dead like logo concept that is got some insane nonsense going on inside it. You can see weird little googly monsters peering out of it and all of that. And then you've got your other set of lands as well, which literally have what looks like trailer parks and other garbage on it. And I'm left scratching my head going, who is this for? I can't believe that I looked at these secret lairs and went, oh, can we please go back to goblins showing their abs on Instagram and biting their lips and doing duck face and stuff? Because I didn't know how much lower we could go. And yet, here we are in absolute ridiculous town with, look at these lands. Look, like, it's just, brace yourself, friends, because we're going to move on to the next secret lair. This one actually has the most value out of all the secret lairs we're going to talk about. So in this one, we've got Wormcoil Engine, Chaotic Goo, Consecrated Sphinx, Meteor Golem, and Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker. So you can see there's some really decent cards in the form of Wormcoil Engine, Consecrated Sphinx, and Kiki Jiki, right? Those are really solid. Meteor Golem is just something Wizards keeps insisting on putting in secret lairs. It was a random uncommon when it came out in a core set, and for the life of me, I do not understand why they keep printing. I mean, I understand from one perspective, they literally are like, well, we don't want to have too many valuable cards in this secret lair. But at the same time, why Meteor Golem? Why do you keep picking this? Is there anybody who wants a Meteor Golem who doesn't already have one of the 7? Like, what is this? Like the 7th time they've jammed it into a secret lair? It's absolutely bizarre. Another strange choice is Chaotic Goo, but at least Chaotic Goo, even though it's actually just a complete piece of crap, it's only been reprinted this one time. This is literally the first reprint. This card was printed originally way back in like the 90s, and they're finally going, here you go, we reprinted Chaotic Goo like everybody wants. So it really reads like, okay, we're making a really ugly secret lair that might not hit everybody the right way. So why don't we put some valuable cards in there to make it actually have some secondary market value? This is something we don't really see with secret lairs that often anymore, is ones that go, oh, well, actually, when you look at the value of the cards, it's going to exceed the actual cost of the secret lair. Of course, bear in mind, that probably means they're looking at reprinting Consecrated Sphinx and Kiki Jiki. Again, Wormcoil Engine's seen a number of reprints, including 2 reprints in the Brothers War, plus the serialized one. So maybe not, but bear in mind that when Wizards does put out secret lairs that have a bunch of value in them, it usually means that very soon they're going to be reprinting these other cards, and it's going to tank the value. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Consecrated Sphinx and Kiki Jiki specifically as special guests in something as soon as Duskmorn, or who knows, maybe they'll even jam them into Foundations because they can't help themselves, and Foundations will be like, check it out, this set's for Standard and everything, but also the special guests in it aren't for Standard, so you can't use these in there. Who knows? Those goofy scamps over at Wizards. Either way, you can see these cards are hideous, right? These cards are ugly. They're, what is it, UGLY? They ain't got no alibi. But at least there's some value in there, right? Now, let's move on to the most egregious of all of them, as far as I'm concerned. This one has Thought Vessel, Skull Clamp, Command Tower, Sol Ring, and Lightning Greaves. So not a bad lineup of cards overall. I mean, Command Tower is really just whatever jank, but there's a million people playing Commander now, so I can see why they want to hit Command Tower. Sol Ring, same kind of deal, and at least with Sol Ring, it's a super powerful card, right? This thing's been around since the beginning days of Magic, and having one in your opening hand is always good feels. So it's understandable why they included those. For me, where it gets really insane is how ugly look, okay, let me put Lightning Greaves specifically up on the screen all by itself so we can talk about just how ridiculous Magic has gotten. Look at this. Look at this. This is a real tattoo, by the way, just so you know. Somebody got this tattoo, then they took a picture of it and put it on a Magic card. Like, hi, I'm a planeswalker engaged in epic magical battles where I summon up dragons and lightning bolts, and I'm gonna set you on fire. I'm gonna pull your angel soul into the abyss where it will be devoured by demons for all eternity. Oh yeah? I'm gonna summon up Greg's leg. What? I summon a part of Greg's leg that has a tattoo of some Greaves on it. What? Yeah, and I put it on a goblin that's taking pictures of itself on Instagram, and then I get to attack with it instantly. So my goblin, it puts down his cell phone, and then he picks up Greg's leg, a part of Greg's leg, and he wraps it around himself, and he lightning Greaves into your face. Like, what is this? What is this? I feel like I'm living in a simulation. You know how they say, oh, the whole world's a simulation? I believe it. I believe it's a simulation that's just designed to drive me slowly mad. I started playing Magic back in the 90s, man, when it was dinosaurs, and not dinosaurs, but dragons and fireballs and all that kind of craziness. And now we've got Greg's leg with a tattoo on it. Look at it. Look at it. It doesn't even look like they washed the guy's leg or whatever. Like, come on, man. What is going on? How is this a Magic card? What happened? Wizards of the Coast isn't focused on making the game better in any way. Instead, they're doing nonsense like this. It's absolutely wild to me. So, I had to get that out of my system. I'm on my way to pick up an early access box of Bloomborough boosters that we're going to open tonight over on my live stream channel. You're welcome to come and hang out with me if I can keep my sanity intact, and we can look at some gorgeous, fun Bloomborough cards with awesome flavor, great artwork. And by the way, if you haven't checked out the Bloomborough story yet, it's over on my Magic Lore channel, Fantasy Geographic. You can check out the story in its entirety. We can even talk about that too. Or you can come by and we can just guffaw about how Magic has fallen so far that, forget jumping the shark, they're jumping like 18 dead sharks all glued together on a boat made out of a shark that's jumping another shark. Like, I can't even believe this. It's a tattoo of a guy's leg. Just part of a guy's leg. I like your calf, bro. I want to lick it. Like, what? What is this? What is this? Anyways, it's time for me to go because I'm just going to end up devolving more into ranty nonsense. Thanks for coming out, my friends. Big shout out to my patrons, and I will see you all for whatever ridiculousness comes next.